Alright, Elf, we're going to do this one together. You go over there and provide firing support from the shadows, just in case I get ambushed and nearly killed by plastic again. Oh, hey, the Bard here, and it's time for another cracking unboxing and, most likely, review of a figure. And today, it is Tracer from the upcoming Blizzard game, Overwatch. This is the Overwatch symbol. Here is a little caricature, very simple sigil of Tracer herself. A little bit of a bio here. It says she's from London, and she's an adventurer by occupation. Aren't we all? Oh, look out! Look out! This is not a toy! Beware! California Prop 65 warning. This product contains lead, a substance/chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. Oh, it's also a choking hazard. Great! This is the deadliest toy that I've ever come across. Alright. Cheers, love. The cavalry's here. I'll be the judge of that. Ah, what have we here? It's scads of tape. Oh, hello. A manual. A manual. Oh, this one needs a manual. None of the others have manuals. The tried and true method of gravity. I've got to cut through here. Luckily, I've done this many times before. First impressions, it's a lot better than Geralt, and I'm going to pull it out and give you a decent look at it in just a moment. What's this thing? Ah, the main body. Ooh, hey, that's not bad. Detached arms. Hey, it's like it's almost a real hobby. And now I have to gain access to the next tier. Oh, there we go. Hey, it's full of bits. Batteries. It needs batteries? What the hell? A power thing? What is going on? This is a heavy base. This is a little beyond spring-loaded. This is starting to look real interesting. Let me tell you this, as a dwarf in spirit, I'm not too proud to actually read the instructions for things. Come here, Tracer. That goes there. Yep. And that goes there. Well, that goes in there, I guess. And around the back. Oh, yeah, it does. Just like that. Hide and seek fans, locate the battery compartment on the bottom of Tracer's base. Lift the compartment cover. It is magnetized. Insert 3 AA batteries. Replace the component cover. Oh, replace compartment cover, I mean. Terrible read. Flip the on-off switch located at the side of the base and enjoy the illuminated feature. I've done all that earlier stuff. There we go. That lights up. Is something else supposed to light up? Or is that it? That single light? You call that illuminate? That is it. It's just the logo on the base that lights up. Well, I don't know what I expected. There we go. I'm going to give you a little look at that. And later on I might put the lights out. And we'll see if it actually illuminates much of the figure at all. Yo-ho! Here we are in my lands at night to test the amazing light-up feature of this Tracer statue. Let's give it a go. Hang on, where's the switch? Oh, here it is, here it is. Got it, ready. 3, 2, 1, and here up. There up. Okay, up. Oh! Well, I must say, that's kind of disappointing. I don't know what I was expecting. All that weight and the rigmarole and the extra trouble of having AC adapters and whatnot packaged in the box that are optional, by the way. The batteries are sufficient. And this is what it does? Why doesn't this blue part light up? That'd be way better. I don't know, maybe it works better outside. Nope. Alright guys, I'm going to continue this tomorrow. Hang on, maybe I should put a light on. Whoa. Sorry. I'm going to continue this tomorrow where I will give this figure a good looking over and put it through its paces, especially in comparison to the elf here. I'm having a little bit of deja vu, aren't you? So are you guys twins or what? Now, whatever. I'm going to have a proper look at it tomorrow. As for right now, I'm off to bed. See you in a minute. Turn the bloody light off, Tracer. Cavalry. Morning. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, Tracer. Now, Tracer is one of the most recent characters to come out of the famed computer game design studio Blizzard. Now, Blizzard have a pretty good track record when it comes to good, solid character designs, and I have to admit that even the ones that I don't particularly like very much tend to display very solid design principles, maybe with a few sterling exceptions. But I have to say that I think Tracer is an example of Blizzard pretty much at their best. The design of Tracer is simple, elegant, and like all strong character design, it delivers maximum characterization at a glance. This is extra important in character-based games like Overwatch, as the design not only has to tell us something about who a character is, but it also has to communicate a sense of how they play. Now for this, I think Tracer is solid gold, and I am not at all surprised that she was chosen to be the face of the game. Now I am putting myself out on a little bit of a limb here, in that I am going to make a couple of deductions on how she plays and how she feels to play, based entirely on her visual design, when I cannot possibly have played the game yet. Now, I am beyond culpability in this. If she doesn't play the way she looks like she plays, then it's entirely Blizzard's fault for coming out with a dissociative character design. So, how does she play? Well, everything about her design says hit and run. Her bomber jacket and goggles, with their practical connotations of flight, are all about speed, bravery, and a bit of a flyboy attitude toward things, while at the same time her elongated legs and athletic footwear make it clear that Tracer is a serious runner. Now this gives her an aerodynamic silhouette that's very conducive to speed, but it also makes it clear that she's quite fragile, unlikely to bear up against much of an assault. And this is in direct contrast to some of her other Overwatch compatriots who look very solid indeed. Her weapons are these very sleek, futuristic pistols that also indicate speed and probably a preference for close-in assaults to go with her aptitude for breakneck speed and probably rapid retreat. Now there are extra hints to the Tracer playstyle, but also to her character in general here as well, as her futuristic weapons and gauntlets and this fancy harness that sublimates her jacket, as well as seeming inseparable from her body, let us in on the idea that technology plays a big part in Tracer's outlook. She is becoming cyborgian. Cyborgian. That's a fun word, isn't it? Say it a couple of times. Cyborgian. Now, transhuman is another fun word that applies. All these words indicate is that she is human plus, enhanced by technology, or if you want to get a little darker, part of her humanity has started to become marginalised, or maybe even jeopardised by technology. What's really fun is that all of us are, in one sense or another, already cyborgian. The specifics of Tracer's cybergenesis are tricky to communicate entirely in terms of visual design, but by the time we have learned that she is in fact kind of an unwilling time traveller, clues like her bomber jacket, reminiscent of relics of the past, have calibrated our imaginations to be ready to accept that as part of her character. So how does all this translate to the figure at hand? Well, extremely well, as it happens. All of the important elements of Tracer's design are not only present, they are prominent. And that is what we look for in character figures like this one. You know, I'm going to get my camera and take a few picky-wickies so that you can see for yourself. Like the elf of Dragon's Crown fame, the pose is a key feature of Tracer's statue here. In fact, it's almost the same pose, with the key difference being that Tracer has a lot more direct, forward momentum, a full tilt run rather than a little hop. This adds a bit of unpredictability to her as well, which is almost certain to be a key feature of her gameplay, much like the Team Fortress 2 Scout, who actually shares many common design elements with Tracer here. This pose is perfect for presenting her speedy physique. In particular, her legs, which are wildly long, a common signifier of speed and elegance. The sculpt would be nowhere near as effective if Tracer had more realistic proportions, and the sheer tilt Tracer is moulded in makes it look like her speed is stretching her out, even that she is in danger of leaving her legs behind in sort of a comical Warner Brothers Wile E. Coyote sort of situation. This pose also reinforces the idea that Tracer, as a pilot, evidenced by her bomber jacket, is also a bit of a daredevil, with this wild lean showing that she is on full, reckless commitment to her trajectory, and looking behind as well. especially bold when there's walls everywhere. Now, a running pose on its own would be insufficient for a character like this, of course, whose fighting credentials need to be confirmed. As such, both her bomber jacket and her handguns are in prime viewing position. Now, the former is tucked close to the figure's core, fairly obscured by arms and that cyber-technological harness she wears, but the rank insignia are easily seen on the upside of the sculpt. And this, coupled with the prominent guns in fighting pose, mean that Tracer's position as a combatant is solidly in the foreground. Now, unlike the elf, Tracer doesn't have the advantage of a billowing cloak to add a bit more visual interest to the model, but this flashy bit of technological flair streaming out of her harness does the exact same job of adding a bit of visual pizzazz to the entire statue at large, making it look much busier than it would have been otherwise. It's also a pretty ingenious bit of design in its own right. I love the way it wraps around from the harness and grounds itself in the base, drawing attention to both elements while at the same time bringing Tracer's teleporty, tricksy, time-travel-y shenanigans right to the fore of the model. Top marks. I just wish it lit up somehow. Ah well. Overall, there is precious little for me to complain about, so I'm not going to really. Just one or two bits of errant colour or paintwork that maybe doesn't hold up to particularly close inspection, but after the horrors of Geralt and the Griffin, I am disposed to be way more forgiving of such things. All in all, this is a very well made, very solid resin statue of a very likeable character. Well done, Blizzard Collectibles. Well, that's a good review for Tracer, and a good omen, I hope, for Overwatch overall. But I do have one very serious problem, Blizzard, with this figure. And it doesn't actually have anything to do with the figure itself. You see, Overwatch is another game like Dragon's Crown which features a very prominent dwarf character. Very clearly. But what do we get for figures? Lithe, girline characters, very popular I'm sure, but they have nothing of the nobility and the stout strength of the dwarfs. I want a dwarf. Where's my dwarf? So listen up, Blizzard, especially you Metzen, and that clown who works down the hall from you, him especially. I think he's in Panama at the moment or something. You listen to me. You know what this is. You recognise this, don't you? It's a Damaz Kron. This is my personal book of grudges. And unless I get a dwarf figure, you are going in here, right next to Games Workshop, and right next to Mr. Ramage, my high school metalwork teacher. You have 1 year.